Hello, it's a lovely good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Yambo. Top stories in the news tonight: hunger looms in NALOLO district of the Western Province. Police advised to be professional when handling opposition political parties. Vedanta Resources says it is not yet in charge of KCM. In international news, Catholic Protestant churches in DRC demand inquiry before acceptance of results. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO intensifies preps ahead of AFCON. These are many more stories coming up shortly.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Hello again, another news in detail. Some drivers using Lusaka's Garden Chilulu Road have complained over the continued poor state of the stretch between Garden Corner and Katima Mulilo Road. The aggrieved drivers have told Camnet News that the road has been in a poor state for many years and worsens during the rainy season. One of the affected drivers, only identified as Chileshe, has accused the councillor Adrian Banda of not paying attention to the matter, as it has been reported to him several times. More in the following report.
This is the condition of the historical deplorable Lusaka's Garden Chilulu Road between Garden Corner and Katimamulilo Road. This stretch has been deplorable for years, and efforts to work on it have, however, proven temporal. A check Friday morning by Camnet News found the road in a poor state, with drivers having difficulties to maneuver the ponds on it. The drivers have bemoaned the state of the road, which is damaging their vehicles on a daily basis.
Otherwise boma yatirekerera kuno boma yatirekerera so stiziva kuti onani mwani yangenera manza pa yachitomwera pa ma distributor tingala tikiri na daily ukangala uli bemo yangena na muinjini maisiza pena boma iliko olokulibe wakansera nawo vanachitotuza pati ndarama za CDF zisingakwanisa kukonza tamaki katamaki nikangono aka ero ili busy maningi apa kupeza yazimira pakati pa road vantu wachedwa olokuti wakwezeke mbasi yena ngusunga wakwezeke vari pakati pa manza.
For others, the only blame is area councillor Adrian Banda of Ngwere Ward 22, whom they claim no longer exists in the area.
Road mdala nononge toneka councillor anapa councillor.
When reached for a comment, Mr. Banda's phone went unanswered. It can only be hoped, however, that authorities will come to the aid of motorists as well as residents in this area by finding a permanent solution to this road. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
About 25 people escaped death when a minibus they were traveling in was involved in a road traffic accident. The accident happened along Mumba Road at Micmac Junction when a light truck hit a Rosa minibus. Joseph Tembo, the driver of the Rosa, explains that the truck hit the Rosa bus from behind. More in this report.
During this year's New Year holiday, a total number of 262 road traffic accidents were recorded countrywide. 16 were recorded as fatal road traffic accidents in which 16 persons were killed. Friday, 5th January 2024, at around 10 hours mid-morning, a truck coming from the eastern side of Lumumba Road hit a Rosa bus after the truck driver failed to connect his brakes when the traffic lights turned red at a short distance. Joseph Tembo, the bus driver found on the scene, tells Camnet News that he was turning when the truck suddenly hit his vehicle. Mr. Tembo states that he carried a total of 25 passengers, of which a few sustained injuries and were rushed to Matero Level 1 hospital.
Munaona mane yapasa aro marobota yapasa aro track yanezo chokao yakangwa kuimirira then yamenya then ishiponi mpezeri momunga meze 25
Banga kuna injuries
venangu basita comment but venangu bachemu.
Eyewitnesses tell these journalists what happened.
Then when so Peter basi sindia number 1 kupita kwa sababu taka motoka kangono then pasipopwera kena so kangono kateneke nena zwati ndeke bazabunka mo sinena zwati ikuru ngeza menye sana natura mabanana nokota kumutu nabunda mayo nezopera ka motoka kangono then manje natabati basi ndiyashita bwanje ndiyapinda muka basi sienzero wachi container chikuru ndienzeriro
zote katika mabanana ukitingene pakati metaona track ya stabwanje yaluzinga mabreke andakta kuliati kwi metabati pakati metakuleta ikapata kuita pansi mutaoneka mtoka kangono kapita face kaenda huko namba 2 basi abwa konkamo ni mamene bamenya mu basi nitamenya pinda muka.
The truck driver who attempted to escape was later apprehended and taken to Matero police station. By broadcast time, police were unable to comment on the matter. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Lusaka Mayor Chelando Chitangala has directed all civic leaders to enhance sensitization activities on cholera in their communities. Ms. Chitangala said this when she visited George Clinic in Matero constituency to check on the cholera situation. The mayor was accompanied by Lima Ward 30 Councillor Daniel Mwewa, who emphasized the need for concerted efforts in combating the disease. More in this report.
She cries in disbelief as she watches her loved one being taken to a mortuary after succumbing to Zambia's perennial disease, cholera. This was at Lusaka's George Clinic in Lusaka's Matero constituency. Mayor of the seat of Lusaka, Chilando Chitangala, visited the clinic in Matero constituency to check on the emergency address of the cholera situation.
That is even more overwhelmed. As you have seen, we have over 200 cholera patients here. But the good thing is that Hero Stadium is now ready. At Half-Room Hero Stadium, we have over 170 patients already. As of now, this is like midday today. And then now, what we were just waiting for was a vehicle to start helping, ferrying the patients from here to take them to Hero Stadium. But of course, we need to also look at what is causing this in the communities. For example, shallow wells. People are still drinking water from shallow wells. So we're trying to work together with our councillors and the WDC so that we can marry those shallow wells together. And then as we bury those shallow wells, we also ask DMMU to come on board.
The mayor was accompanied by Lima Ward 30 Councillor Daniel Mwewa.
So at the local level, we are organizing ourselves, but again, we can't do it on our own. We are waiting for the team to be dispatched from Lusaka City Council Public Health Department, and of course, we work with other security units to undertake this activity. But as the local leadership, we are ready. We are just waiting for enforcement and we wait for ground.
The city mother also witnessed the evacuation of patients to the National Heroes Stadium, which has been turned to a cholera treatment center. At the same time, bodies of those who have succumbed to the disease were transported to the mortuary awaiting burial. Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 336 new cases of cholera with 22 deaths. This brings the cumulative cases recorded since October 2023 to 4,433 and 172 deaths. according to the latest update from the Minister of Health. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAKEZ, says Zambia must be ashamed to be associated with cholera. NAKEZ Executive Director Aaron Chansa says the perennial cholera pandemic and its continued effects on education in Zambia must make all citizens concerned as the causes of the disease and its outbreak in the rainy season are known. Mr. Chansa says Zambia must be proactive and not just reactive to this perennial disease associated with dirt, poor hygiene, dirty water and poor sanitation. He adds that the failure to take action to prevent the disease from breaking out will continue embarrassing the nation with loss of human life.
The National Action for Quality Education in Zambia is deeply concerned, and we think that this grave concern about the perennial outbreak of cholera should also concern all citizens. And in as much as we support the ministry in suspending reopening of schools, we think that 59 years of political independence, this country must be ashamed of itself for associating strongly with a deadly disease. Successive governments in this country have failed to provide clean water and also good sanitation to its people. The Zambians, some of our Zambians have failed to abide by hygiene practices, and these are the things to blame for what we are experiencing today. Education now is a victim of our own failures. We want to see government provide clean water. We want to see our people practicing good hygiene, washing hands regularly, and also avoiding buying food on the street. And as we look at this issue of suspending schools, we are not happy that in April only 1 week has been given as holiday. This is not enough. We want the ministry to extend this to 2 weeks so that learners in boarding schools are not affected.
And Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi has called on organizations and the private sector to come on board and support government efforts in the fight against cholera by donating various items to mitigate the epidemic. Speaking during the handover ceremony of 320,000 ORS sachets donated by UNICEF at ZAMSA headquarters, Dr. Lishimpi said the fight against cholera should not be left to the government alone. He says the fight needs concerted efforts to save lives. More in this report.
Friday, January 5th, 2024, UNICEF has handed over 3,200 boxes of ORS sachets to show solidarity and support government efforts in curbing the recent surge of the cholera outbreak. UNICEF Deputy Representative Tikani Nsonda says UNICEF will continue to support government through various areas, namely the provision of liquid chlorine, community-based volunteers, and other logistics.
We are currently working on a shipment of 850,000 cholera vaccines that is going to be in the country very soon. We are also supporting the government through the community-based volunteers in our partnership with Red Cross. So those are critical in terms of engaging the community in terms of hygiene messaging. And we also are continuing providing chlorine to treat the water, and also providing logistic support in terms of surveillance and contact and tracing of patients.
Receiving the donation at the ZAMSA warehouse in Lusaka, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi, has advised members of the public to look after their own life and not hesitate in seeking medical care whenever they have cholera symptoms. Dr. Lishimpi has also urged the public sector to donate various incentives that will help the fight against cholera.
That treatment center will be anything from 500 to 1,000. And therefore it means that the decentralized cholera treatment centers that we had in Kanyama, George, Matero, Chipata, First Level, Mauleni, Chilenje, and the other one that we had in Levi Manawata Hospital are going to be greatly saved by this, especially for the first level of cholera. So I encourage everyone out there, when you have one bout of diarrhea, plenty of it at once, you're looking rice water, you must, don't wait for the next one, go to the next nearest health center. So that
Meanwhile, ZAMSA Director Victor Nyasulu says ZAMSA is pleased to receive the donation as it will go a long way in reducing the escalating crisis.
To help us procure some essential medicines. And the last consignment we expect from them is by the end of the first quarter of this year. So we are very thankful on behalf of the board of ZAMSA, management and staff. We are thankful to play this role of facilitating the provision of medicines and medical supplies for the people of Zambia.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Party of National Unity and Progress PNUP leader Haifi Hamududu has appealed to President Hakainde Hichilema to deploy defense forces for a cleanup operation to reduce and eradicate the spread of cholera. Mr. Hamududu says the spread of cholera is due to poor sanitation and unclean drinking water. He adds that a thorough cleanup in Lusaka is a necessity, predicting that health facilities alone will not manage to deal with the rising cholera incidences.
Poor infrastructure and unclean water sources. Without thoroughly cleaning up Lusaka as quickly as possible to prevent the cholera spread, the health facilities will not manage to deal with the rising cholera incidences. The emergency at hand is bigger than the capacity of the city council and the line ministries at the moment, and therefore the defense forces fit in very well to deal with this emergency.
Governance activist Brebna Changala has advised the Zambia police to be professional in handling opposition political parties in their quest to hold public rallies. Mr. Changala says the police should not deny opposition leaders an opportunity to meet their supporters, which is one of the tenets of democracy. This comes a day after Socialist Party leader Fred Membe warned the Inspector General of Police against violating citizens' rights. Here's a report.
The just ended 2023 has been described as a year where rights of citizens were allegedly violated by the Zambia Police Service by means of blocking opposition political players from engaging their supporters through public rallies. On Thursday, January 4th, 2024, Socialist Party leader Fred Membe was among the latest to raise this concern in this new year. During a media briefing in Lusaka on the said date, Dr. Membe warned Inspector General of Police Grafo Musamba against violating rights of the citizens.
Inspector General of Police has no authority to arbitrarily suspend citizens' enjoyment of fundamental human rights guaranteed by the Constitution and international covenant.
Meanwhile, a Lusaka-based governance activist, Brebna Changala, has advised the Zambia police to be professional, especially as the election year draws nearer.
Is this veiled belief that the police regulate citizens, their conduct and their behavior? But most importantly, there is this strong belief which has been inculcated in the people of Zambia that the police give permits for people to assemble, for people to associate, and indeed for people to communicate. These are values, freedoms and liberties that are enshrined in the Constitution.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Residents of NALOLO district in Western Province are appealing for relief food due to prolonged dry spells being experienced in the area. Some of the residents spoken to by Camnet News explain that the dry spell has raised fears of a hunger situation. Meanwhile, a traditional leader, Induna Muleta Kalaluka of Namaoma village in Nanchunja area, is appealing to the government to reconsider the registration process for farmers under the Farmer Input Support Program, FISP. Details in this report.
The Zambia Meteorological Department in 2023 predicted reduced rainfall in the 2023-2024 rainy season due to the influence of an El Nino and suggested the situation may affect agricultural activities and subsequently affect food production in the country. True to the predictions of the department, prolonged dry spells have hit most part of the country, with NALOLO district being one of the affected areas, and residents fear a looming hunger crisis. As such, residents in the Toya area of NALOLO district in Western Province are appealing for relief food as the area has been severely hit by drought, leaving the agricultural activities to a standstill. The residents are also appealing to the government to provide farming inputs in a timely manner to support their activities in cases where the weather pattern changes.
Kono lia mwezi kakulieha mbonye ne lulimile kaufera bakisalinanga ichilelizazi bakazwa cholo mote ni kusasa bafumani twe ne lukupa wecheche baba talima maluko a disaster bona bo vice president balubone kwanu kwa NALOLO ushwire kutokwa bona kuli balwinule baloferi tuso zamana nizakucha
nakukalo imbuto banatwa nene kabisi nakukala mwachi mwafabika banatwa nene byo very late manene simu ya kulieha cyo hano hatuli twina kulomba ngwetu fulumende itutale ko bwino yetu baka membo na bipangi na manjala kuno kwimbwa mengi manene
mwandu eluzingira ulukita linjimo zaluna alistaza maande bakensalizazi mbonyene kalezu kuchaliwa kaufera ichile yechaliwa mwamulaho bakensa kulina kweli eile siko kwanisa fedha
chale kihalu kupa kubona bumwete kuli balutuse balubone lwashwatala no mwaha injimo za unalikaba.
Meanwhile, a traditional leader Induna Mwinanenwa from Namaoma village in the Nanjucha area has urged farmers to shift their reliance from rain-fed agriculture to irrigation systems, but with support from the government.
Where registration is being done, it's not good because even a person who has no land takes fertilizer. They end up selling this fertilizer. Let us go to irrigation. We go to irrigation system. We have plenty of months that rain before comes. If we use irrigation, we can have harvest all the time. If we use irrigation, even where in the plain, we can find the foodstuffs there. We can harvest maize, we can harvest a lot of grains. So my proposal is that let us shift from the old system of type of farming to upload the new ones which are there.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News.
Lusaka businessman Cedric Kasanda has petitioned the state in the Economic and Financial Crimes Court over his seized properties by the Drug Enforcement Commission on suspicion of being proceeds of crime. Kasanda, who has cited the Attorney General as a respondent, also wants damages which he and his family have suffered as a result of the move by the DEC. The petitioner's action is pursuant to Section 23 of the High Court Act, Chapter 27 of the Laws of Zambia. The businessman was on 28 November 2023 granted bail in a matter he is charged in relation to the Gold Gate scam. The government has hinted that it is working on a legislation compelling all industry players in the tourism and hospitality sector to employ staff with minimum education requirements. Speaking during a send-off of 10 students from the Zambia Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Studies to the United States Friday, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says this is in a bid to attain excellence in the tourism and hospitality sector. The tourism minister, however, urged Zambians to embrace a cultural shift regarding the hospitality sector as a career path worth contributing to the country's development. Meanwhile, Zambia Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Studies Executive Director Elvis Tembo urged the students who will be undergoing a 12-month internship in the United States of America to focus on their mission in that country. Details in this report.
Tourism is a significant contributor to Zambia's economy, playing a vital role in various aspects. In 2019, international visitors spent about $849 million in Zambia, representing 10% of the country's total exports, and the sector is currently one of the country's job galo, which absorbs waiters, guides, souvenir makers, among others. Despite the tourism and hospitality sector being locally regarded as a last option, government is working on a piece of legislation compelling all tourism and hospitality players to employ personnel with minimum education requirement and improve the remuneration of the staff. Speaking during the send-off of 10 students, where 4 are being sponsored by the government to the United States of America for 12 months as part of an exchange program, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says youths should shift their cultural norm of regarding the industry as the least priority because it is lucrative.
We will also ensure that even the remuneration in this sector is at par with the so-called white-collar jobs that we have. So brace yourselves, parents who are in here, you the learners should be able to tell your friends that the next level of tourism that you're going to have, based on your skills and with the support that we're getting from our colleagues from the Ministry of Education, you will be getting well above what we call the minimum wage. In that particular aspect, we will be working on a piece of legislation that will compel any form of hospitality business to have staff on the floor with a minimum requirement, minimum education requirement that will speak towards us attaining excellence in our business.
Meanwhile, Zambia Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Studies Acting Executive Director Elvis Tembo advised the students to focus on their mission while in the USA.
Blessings as you go to the States of America. Remember that as you will be out there, you'll be the ambassadors of ZITS, ambassadors of the Ministry of Tourism, and above all, ambassadors of the Republic of Zambia. You'll be a mirror of Zambia at large. While there, do not indulge yourselves into illicit activities such as drugs.
And U.S. Embassy Public Affairs Officer Phil Diamond pledged continued partnership in improving the tourism and hospitality industry.
You all will do when you come back here to Zambia. We of course want you to have a great time in the U.S. We want you to network as much as possible, meet as many Americans as possible, meet people who can help you when you get back here to Zambia, experience the country, live life to the fullest, travel to the extent that your job permits, travel around the United States, and then come back to Zambia, use all of the networks that you gain, the skills that you gain to make a positive difference back here.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a break. Join us for more news after the break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tawo Kawana has implored local authorities and other government departments to embrace both public and private media houses as they execute their duties, such as inspection of projects. Mr. Kawana says the media is not only restricted to public media, but embraces the private media houses too. Mr. Kawana says President Hakainde Hichilema is very emphatic when it comes to private media, hence the need for local authorities and other government departments to embrace the two media entities. Mr. Kawana said this today when he paid a courtesy call on Livingstone District Commissioner Ms. Eunice Zulu at her office. Meanwhile, Livingstone District Commissioner Eunice Zulu commended the Ministry of Information and Media for ensuring that the Access to Information Law was actualized.
It is extremely important that the activities that are going on the ground are portrayed. And through the CDF, vehicles were obtained and procured for monitoring and evaluation. And this is why I want to repeat my earlier call from yesterday that as these vehicles with the local authorities go on the ground to monitor and inspect projects, they must ensure that they carry with them the press. Among them, Zanis, but also the private media. The president is very emphatic when it comes to private media. Media is not just public media. Media is media, including the private sector. So even as government officers are going around to do their work, they must ensure that they carry with them the private media and must be able to cater for the private media. The same way we carry scribes from the public media, and we provide for them, whether it is a lunch, whether it is transport, it's the same way we ought to treat members of the media from the private media. They must always be with us because we are one nation. And as the president correctly observed, when you carry various media, angles are different. Even just this that we are doing now, when you watch a certain station, this courtesy call will take a different angle.
Vedanta Resources Limited says it has not yet taken control of management at Konkola Copper Mines KCM until after the scheme of arrangement is completed. Vedanta Resources Zambia Director Corporate Communications Masuzion Lovu says the scheme of arrangement is a court-approved agreement between a company and its creditors. Mr. Lovu says the scheme also includes the withdrawal of the provisional liquidator and reinstatement of the KCM board. He says currently the provisional liquidators is responsible to run the assets of Konkola copper mines.
We remain committed and determined, and I should say we've reached at a point where all processes have been done. One process that we are still remaining with is the scheme of arrangement, which is a court-approved system between the company and its creditors. So once that is done, that will entail an appointment of the board that is going to oversee the operations of KCM in terms of the policy direction and of course the strategic direction for KCM, and of course a management team that will steer or run this asset in a very profitable way. With that said, we definitely want to turn KCM into a world-class company. So we are determined to do that. We remain resolute and we are determined.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia, CAZ, has commended the government for the strides made in enacting the local content bill into law. Association President Lawrence Makumbi says the law will reserve some services strictly to Zambian service providers. This comes after the association petitioned the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA on 29 December 2023 over a cleaning contract worth about 4 million kwacha awarded to a foreign cleaning company.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia is glad and very happy with the New Dawn government's decision to actualize the local content bill. We have had to wait 60 years as Zambians to have this bill. We have had to wait all these long 60 years because we have just been producing copper and the services have been given to foreigners. We are happy that the Minister of Mines has today announced that President Hakainde Hichilema is assenting to the local content bill, which is going to make service provision, cleaning service provision, catering and other services be given to Zambians and Zambians alone. We are saying, President Hakainde Hichilema, well done. After 60 years of freedom as Zambians, you are the most bold president that is able to say and carry and hold the bull by its horns to give Zambians this privilege to ensure that Zambians benefit from the copper that we have as a nation. Billions of dollars have gone out of this country through mineral extraction. But President Hakainde Hichilema, today we give you a hand and we say, well done. Well done for the cleaning sector. Well done for Mother Zambia, because you are the only bold president 60 years after independence that has given us this law, which will ensure we benefit from our mineral wealth that we have as a people.
Government has launched the Zambia Police Service Commission Strategic Plan and a website for 2023 to 2026. Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, says government wants to ensure an appropriate legal and policy framework is in place to enable the Zambia Police Service Commission and the Immigration Department to operate in an environment that promotes efficiency. Mr. Kangwa adds that this is because the performance of the two institutions has a huge effect on the image and security of the country. He was speaking during the official launch of the strategic plan in Lusaka this morning. Zambia Police Service Commission Chairperson Peter Machungwa cited lack of promotions, especially for lower-ranked officers, as one of the challenges that the Commission is facing. Mr. Machungwa said lack of promotions lead to reduced morale by junior officers as they lack motivation. This is Camnet Television Main News. We'll take our second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049-213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. And now in international news, the powerful Catholic Bishops' Conference and Protestant churches in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have demanded an independent inquiry to be opened into irregularities and alleged legal violations observed during the December general elections. The presidential election won by incumbent Felix Tshisekedi with more than 73% of the vote, according to CENI, the Central African Nations Election Commission, has been met with controversy. In a joint statement on Thursday, the Senko, ECC, Catholic and Protestant churches said the results of the presidential and legislative vote would only be acceptable if an inquiry was set up. The groups had monitored the polls with their thousands of independent observers on and after election day. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
The powerful Catholic Bishops' Conference and Protestant churches in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have demanded an independent inquiry be opened into irregularities and alleged legal violations observed during December's general elections. The presidential election won by incumbent Felix Tshisekedi with more than 73% of the vote, according to the Election Commission, has been met with controversy. In a joint statement, the Senko, ECC, Catholic and Protestant churches on Thursday, whose thousands of independent observers flagged widespread issues on and after election day, said the results of the presidential and legislative vote would only be acceptable if an inquiry was set up. Hours-long delays, malfunctioning machines and other issues led to an unscheduled extension of voting beyond December 20. A large group of opposition candidates say the election was fraudulent and rejected the provisional results. Congo's Constitutional Court has confirmed it received 2 formal appeals against the provisional presidential results. It must assess the appeals ahead of a January 12 deadline in order to announce the final presidential results.
The United Nations Under-Secretary General of Humanitarian Affairs warned that the war in Sudan has caused a downward spiral. UN spokesperson told reporters on Thursday that Sudan must take decisive and immediate action to stop the fighting and safeguard humanitarian operations. The fighting has killed more than 12,000 people, according to the United Nations, while doctors and activists say the real death toll is higher.
Across Sudan, nearly 25 million people will need humanitarian assistance this year, but escalating hostilities are putting most of them beyond our reach. Mr. Griffiths called on the parties to the conflict to protect civilians, facilitate humanitarian access, and stop the fighting immediately. He said that in 2024, the international community, particularly those with influence on the parties to the conflict in Sudan, must take decisive and immediate action to stop the fighting and safeguard humanitarian operations meant to help millions of civilians.
Meanwhile, paramilitary leader General Mohammed Hamdan Daglo said Thursday that he was committed to a ceasefire to end the devastating war that has wrecked the country even as fighting continues, and there has been no progress on proposed peace talks between Daglo and Sudan military chief General Abdel Fattah Burhan. South African athlete Oscar Pistorius has been released from prison on parole after serving nearly 9 years in prison for killing his girlfriend and is now at home, South Africa's Department of Corrections said Friday. The department gave no more details of Pistorius' release. The announcement came at around 8:30 a.m. local time, indicating corrections officials had released the world-famous double amputee Olympic runner from the Asteroid View Correctional Center in South Africa's capital Pretoria in the early hours. Pistorius had served nearly 9 years of his 13 years and 5-month murder sentence for killing girlfriend Rivers Team Camp on Valentine's Day 2013. He was approved for parole in November. Serious offenders in South Africa are eligible for parole after serving at least half their sentence.
In our sports news tonight, the CHIPOLOPOLO pre-AFCON camp has hit high gear, with the team hard at work in Taif. Since setting foot in Saudi Arabia, where they have been holed up for 48 hours now, the squad has morphed into their environs with all the 27 players already in camp. The CHIPOLOPOLO held their morning training session at the King Fahd Sports City complex. Zambia will play an international friendly with Cameroon on January 9th in Jeddah, before jetting out to Ivory Coast for the tournament, which kicks off on January 13th. The CHIPOLOPOLO play their opening match on January 17th against Congo DR, before facing Tanzania 4 days later. Defender Frankie Musonda says the team is not intimidated by the big names in Group F, but will fight and get results.
Yeah, really excited. Was unfortunate to get injured just before in October, and then it carried on into November, so I just missed out. But I've been back for 6-7 weeks now, and I feel good. So yeah, really excited to be back with the team and to be in camp. We've all travelled very far, so first and foremost, we just want to recover and also work tactically with the manager and the coaching staff. So it should be a good preparation before we head over to Ivory Coast for the tournament. Yeah, it's a very exciting group. There will all be tough opponents. That's why we're all qualified for this stage. Everyone's a good team, everyone knows what they're doing, so each game will be tough, but again, each game we all think we can win. So yeah, very exciting, and just have to concentrate. Yeah, well, we're all going to be working hard and be very concentrated and focused on the task at hand. I'm sure we'll see all your support from back home on social media and things like that, and we just hope we do you proud.
On that football note, we end the news tonight. Before we go, the headlines once again. Hunger looms in NALOLO district of the Western Province. Police advised to be professional when handling opposition political parties. Vedanta Resources says it is not yet in charge of KCM. In international news, Catholic Protestant churches in DRC demand inquiry before acceptance of results. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO intensifies preps ahead of AFCON. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of Matthew 7 verse 1. Do not judge, or you will too be judged. Thank you for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.